Hello everyone, my name's Michael and today I'm joined with Sarah Cliff from Durham University, who's an international student studying physics.
Hello, hello, hello.
And today we're just going to be discussing just physics in general and also specifically at Durham University. Specifically also the first year, because we are all first years.
Right.
And yeah, it's basically just a bit of an insight into what it's like to study physics and to study at Durham University, at both. And
Spoilers, it's lit.
and hopefully it ends up being helpful for at least someone. And yeah, who knows, if you listen to this podcast and end up coming to Durham, you may see Sarah.
Whoop whoop. I sign autographs between the hours of 2 and 3 on a Wednesday afternoon.
Only in the Billy B though.
Yeah, only in the Billy B. Level 4.
Yes, if you can't catch her just walking around pretending to do work.
Exactly, precisely.
Right. Just kidding, of course. Sarah is a very hard worker. So, yes. So, why specifically Durham? Like, what? Especially being an international student. So you're from America.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. So you're from America, and why did you decide Durham? Like.
Well, I mean, I applied to a lot of both UK and US universities because, like, my parents are from the UK and I have family here. Plus, it's like, US colleges are just, a tad bit, like, fucking expensive. So, might just cross the pond and get the bang for the buck. And also, why not? Like,
yeah.
It's a great time. But Durham specifically, well, it's not, I wouldn't really want to be in a huge city like London or Newcastle or Manchester. In fact, I was choosing between Durham and Manchester, and I eventually picked Durham because, like, it's a lovely small town vibe. But, like, even if it does get a little too claustrophobic, you can always take the train. Newcastle's a 10-minute train ride away, so location's great, and the university itself is really good. I think Durham is really good for undergraduate physics. Yeah, so it's like Durham, Oxbridge, Imperial. Those are like the really good ones.
Okay, and like obviously we must give a shout out to Clute as well. That's obviously one of the main reasons for Sarah came
Of
here.
course, yeah. No, like I came all like 6,000 miles or some crazy distance like that just to go to the worst nightclub in Europe. My favorite. That is, of course, 100% why I came here.
So, yeah. So. But what's your background with physics?
No, okay. Well, the thing is I did a lot of physics in high school back in the United States, and our equivalent at APA levels like AP testing, so our AP tests. So I took all the AP physics tests. There were 4 of them. Cry, my life. Yeah. Anyways, so can you cut that out? Anyway, so yeah, I've always just liked science in general. I always knew I wanted to be a scientist. I mean, I do love a good poem now and again, but like, I feel like science is kind of, because it's just so factual based and there's no room for interpretation or whatever. So it's like, if you get the right answer, you're right. So I like physics like that. And also just how the world works and the universe in general and just everything. Physics literally gives you an algorithm for anything. Like, how cool is that? Like, why does this work? Well, it's because of this and this and this. Exactly. So that's why I like physics.
Okay. Cool. And how are you finding it here? Like,
well, I'm not going to lie. It is physics. Well, there was a poll on Durfest, which is like the Durham Confessions page. They said physics was the hardest degree, and that was back in Michaelmas term. So I was like, no, it's not the hardest, And now it, like, I understand it is. Like, I'm dying. Everyone's dying. We're all just dying together. But you know what? We're having a great time while dying. But it's a time. Yes, you do have to. There was a point, I think, a couple weeks, because you have like collection exams at the beginning of Epiphany term. There's a point after, like, they're really hard, and then there's a point after collection exams where everyone collectively is like, what the hell? Like, we gotta start cramming for the exams in May. So that is currently where I'm at right now. Just, even today I spent 8 hours in my fave, the Billy B. It was quite a time. But you know what? Now I know the Schrodinger's equation by heart. The one-dimensional, time-dependent, and time-independent. So, dab, dab.
I must point out to everyone who doesn't know what the Billy Bee is, that is the Bill Bryson Library.
My fave place in the world. If you want to send any like gifts or fan mail, don't send it to Stevenson College. Send it to the Billy Bee.
Never. Yeah. Because like I said, when you're studying physics and you obviously had a history of physics, was coming to Durham specifically to do physics. Did this differ much to your other unis, do you know, on what areas of physics it covered? Or I know it's difficult in the first year to say that, but
the thing is I guess I can't really compare it to a lot of other UK universities because I feel like they usually have a similar physics track. But at least with the US track, in US universities you have to take general education requirements. So you'd have to take like English, like some sort of humanities, like art and stuff. And like I kind of just wanted to do physics. So yeah, that's why. At least that's why if you are an international student deciding between the US and UK, you have to decide whether or not like you want to spend the extra 4 years doing things that are not related to your degree, or if you want to actually just hunker down and become a physics nerd and have your life completely overtaken by physics for the next 3 years. So
yes, and it's cheaper.
Sorry?
And it's cheaper.
Yes, of course. And also, like, you get your degree done faster and you get a master's in 4 years. Like, I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah.
In the US, it would take 6 years to get your master's. So you get in 4 years, you go on a PhD track, that's also 4 years. Whereas in the US, I think PhD is also 6 years. So, like, bingo, it's like win-win for both the money and the time.
Definitely. Okay, and do you mind giving us a quick rundown of the old modules?
The old schedule? Okay, so as a first-year physicist, you do have some options. So everyone has to take Foundations of Physics 1. That's like the class where they teach you the actual like physics equations and stuff. And it counts as 2 modules because we have a lecture every single day for that class. It's a lot. For that module. But then you have a choice between either taking, for your math, you have to take 2 modules of math. So you can either take SMA and SMB, Single Maths A, Single Maths B, together, which like they kind of encompass like I could just give it like partial derivatives, like ordinary differential equations, and you also learn vector calculus, multivariable calculus, linear algebra, like all in that same set. Or you can take what the math students take, which is linear algebra and calculus. So if you're doing maths and physics, take that. You have to take that. And if you want to just be a little extra spicy with your studies, you take that. But like personally, yeah, I feel like I like the physics aspect more, so that's why I took Single Maths A and Single Maths B. And they're still like relatively challenging modules. And then after that, you do have you have to take a lab class called Discovery Skills in Physics, and that's like, I mean, it's kind of cool because I used to hate labs, but coming to Durham, like labs are actually really cool because at least the ones in the second term, you have to research your lab before you get there, and then you have to write lab reports on it, so you get kind of more in depth of the background behind what you're doing. And like some of this, like for example, one of the labs is you have to like empirically determine the speed of light, which is it's also quite spicy, as I may say. Yeah, and then like I also had a lab where it was testing Coulomb's law, which is electric force. I was literally walking around the entire lab class with like a charged sphere. Like if it zapped someone, then bye-bye, they go to the hospital. Added a little bit of danger to that, but cut that out. But yeah, so basically that's the lab class. And then you also have like you have computer programming, you learn that in the lab class, and how to like do error analysis and stuff. And then you also have an optional module that you can take. Some students take languages, some students take like one of my friends is doing an anthropology module for that. You can take whatever, but like the physics department offers a level 1 course called Introduction to Astronomy, which a lot of students take, and I'm taking that one. And that's actually really cool because I hadn't ever had a formal astronomy class, and like we learned about black holes and like how you describe galaxies mass-wise versus the radius and superclusters of galaxies. And I mean, that's just, I never knew all these things happened, so That I really like that part about introduction to astronomy. I have to say though, that class, it is very content based. I feel like all of physics is very content based. They just throw the equations at you, and my lecturer described it, like in the introductory lectures, as you think, like you go into university thinking the lectures will kind of be like a full course meal. But in fact, what the lectures are is they literally just throw the ingredients at you and expect you to make the meal yourself. So there is like a lot of independent study that goes along with all these lectures you have. Like, for example, I have about 21 contact hours, which is a lot. Like, for example, law only has 7, but then physics has 21. That's about an average of 3. Usually I have 3 lectures a day. And then you have 3 tutorials, 1 3-hour lab session, and then a computing workshop. So it does add up, and you have to make time to study. So it is like, especially second term. As I said before, I basically live in the Billy Bee. A lot of people basically live in the Billy Bee or like live in their rooms doing physics. But I mean, if you like physics, then go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So would you have any advice for anyone that, like, especially being international, would you have any advice for anyone that's thinking of applying for physics, or especially at Durham as well?
Like international coming from just anywhere? Or like if you're coming from the United States, I really recommend when filling out your application, like they have this website called acrossthepond.com. I didn't use it. I really wish I did though. They give you really good tips on how to because it's a whole different application process. For anyone living outside the UK, or an international student from a non-English speaking country, I've been talking with other international students, and I know it seems like, especially if English isn't your first language, it's really hard at first to kind of there is also that barrier you have to come over, but don't worry, it gets better for a lot of people. And if you're doing physics, I don't know, I would do a little bit of, don't fill your summer up with revision before you come, but I would, especially if your curriculum doesn't exactly match up with the curriculum the British kids go through, then I would just kind of touch up on this subject. Because, for example, I didn't know, we never learned complex numbers in the American system, or we barely did, and then everyone came in knowing everything there is to know about complex numbers, and I was kind of sitting there in tutorials what's going on, while everyone was hammering it down. But it's fine. You just know that it will be a lot. Your life will be somewhat overtaken by physics, but you can still live a balanced lifestyle.
Yeah,
it's great. It's a great time.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. I think we covered most questions. But yeah, thank you for this, and
no problem. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah, no worries.